We are in the midst of an epic, unprecedented transformation in human consciousness that has never happened before. You can't find your meaning. You can't find who you are without connection. Connection to what? Connection to your iPhone? Connection to your iPad? Connection to your games? That won't work. That's not connection. The people that you are connecting with, like you, can experience. They can feel. They have their own interior reality, and that interior reality is the one that's most important in their spiritual growth. You can't find meaning without other people. To really go where you need to go includes connection. Connection with other people. And you are learning, and I am learning, and everyone in the Earth School is learning to love. Authentic power is love. There's no greater power. Can you do that? Today we're going to continue our discussion of a very interesting topic. And the topic is, what is real? Last time, we looked at AI. Everyone knows AI is not real, or is it? It's a computer program. It can't think, much less feel or experience. All it can do is recognize patterns. And if we have enough money, if we're a billion-dollar company, we have servers that can ask our AI program like ChatGPT or Claude or any of the rest billions of questions about everything that's on the internet. And then we test it to see how accurate it is. And usually it's not very accurate, so we keep testing it. We keep asking it questions until it gets to be pretty much accurate. And then we say, okay, it's ready to sell. But is it real? Well, AI is now replacing many white-collar jobs that were previously filled by educated, degree-holding employees. And now they're not. That's real. You can see it in the statistics. How is that affecting you? Were you planning on going to college? Have you gone to college and now you have a job that might not be there in the near future? How is that affecting you? The reality of it comes and goes when you look at the external world. But we're looking beyond the external world now. We're looking at something more significant. So in the last episode, the one after AI, we looked at meaning. So what does meaning have to do with what's real? What's meaningful to you? And what does meaningful mean? Does meaningful mean that you're going to get a job that is going to secure your future, if there is such a thing as a secure future now? Does it mean that you're on the right track to raise more money, to earn more money? Does it mean that you're on the right track to do something that gives you a sense of satisfaction and completion? That's what we talked about last time, meaning. And I suggested that since the old compass doesn't work, everyone had a personal compass. Get a degree, have a family, stay healthy, make a lot of money, make enough just to be comfortable or an adventurer. But real meaning, meaning that touches you deeply, that makes you satisfied that you're alive and doing that. Well, where does that come from? Can you have that kind of meaning in a cave? Hermits used to isolate themselves from monasteries so that they could explore inside themselves to find what's really meaningful and true for them. And then they decided to isolate themselves from the monastery, and they became hermits. And they never saw anyone. People just left the meals by their cave entrance. We don't have to do that anymore, because spiritual growth and spiritual development depends upon our interactions. Your interactions with others form the basis of your spiritual growth. So now we're getting closer to meaning. You can't find meaning without other people. Meaning, in other words, comes to you through your interactions with others, and that includes connection. That's something that AI can't do. And that's something that looking for meaning in terms of a job or a vacation or an occupation or a future can't give you. It can give you a temporary sense of being on the right track. But meaning is more than the right track. It's the track. It's the track that you were born to experience as you move through the earth school. That's why I suggest that you use meaning and not your understanding as your compass now. But now we come to something else. Connection. You can't find your meaning. You can't find who you are without connection. Connection to what? Connection to your iPhone? Connection to your iPad? Connection to your Android? Connection to your games? No, that won't work. That's not connection. Even if it's a collective game, it's not a connection. Because the people that you are connecting with, like you, can experience, they can feel, they have their own interior reality, and that interior reality is the one that's most important in their spiritual growth. Because that interior reality is what enables them to distinguish between when a frightened part of their personality is present and when a loving part of their personality is present. When a frightened part of your personality is present and you act on it, for example, anger, fear, resentment, jealousy, competition, overwhelm, anxiety, resentment, you create consequences for yourself. And when you act on a loving part of your personality, for example, when you feel gratitude or appreciation or caring or contentment, or awe of the universe or patience, you also create consequences for yourself. But they're very different consequences. The consequences you create when you act in fear are destructive. They're painful. They're empty. They don't take you where you want to go, to fulfillment, to satisfaction, to completion. And the opposite's true when you act with loving parts of your personality. They create blissful, healthy, constructive consequences, the kind that you want more of. So as you learn to distinguish between love and fear in yourself and then consciously choose between them, now you're doing something that 5 sensory humans can't have. 5 sensory humans are humans with the old consciousness. The old consciousness is determined, is limited to what the 5 senses can detect. And according to the old consciousness, if you can't hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, see it, or hear it, it doesn't exist. It's your imagination. That limitation is not part of the new consciousness, which means that we're beginning to experience beyond the 5 senses. That means we're beginning to experience some of the processes of non-physical reality. It's not just a term anymore, it's becoming a reality. That is the big change in human consciousness. That's the headliner. That's what I've been talking about on every single podcast and will continue to talk about, because we are in the midst of an epic, unprecedented transformation in human consciousness that has never happened before. There are aspects of this new human consciousness that are familiar to all of us by name only. For example, soul. Well, in the West, or in all the Christian and Catholic countries, everyone knows that word, soul. But have they experienced it? Or is it a theological, religious concept discussed in seminaries and Sunday school? For the old consciousness and humans who have it, it was just that. You had to have faith to know that you have a soul. You had to be told that you have a soul. And then you had to be told by somebody to believe that you have a soul. You don't have to know. You don't need any of that anymore. You have a soul. and you know it. If you were 5-sensory, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast, because this podcast has to do with spiritual development, and spiritual has to do with the soul. The soul is that part of you that is your essence. It's not a theoretical entity in your chest cavity. It is your essence. It is who you are. It is a forceful presence in your life. And you are in this domain of time and space and matter and duality in order to not only to experience your soul, but to contribute to its evolution consciously. How do you do that? You create the new power. The old power was ability to manipulate and control. That's the way 5-sensory humans looked at their world. And external power, manipulation and control, comes and goes. If you win the lottery and suddenly you're $50 million more wealthy, you've got a lot more external power immediately. You can buy and sell anything you want. Sometimes that even means the allegiance of other people. And then there can be a stock market crash, and you've invested your $50 million in stocks that are worthless now. They're gone. Your external power is gone. That's the nature of external power. You can gain it and you can lose it. You can earn it and you can give it away. Authentic power is something very different. That you have to create. And once you create it, you can't lose it. It's yours. It's the alignment of your personality with your soul. That energy, that presence, that intelligence, that wisdom and compassion that is now real in your life. If you don't think it's real, ask yourself, am I more than a mind and a body? The answer will come. It won't even come. You'll know it. Yes, I am. If I ask that question to a 5-sensory human, are you more than a mind and a body? The 5-sensory human will look at me and say, what else is there? You're not 5-sensory. You're multisensory. Power for you is no longer manipulation and control, and that's important to know because external power is no longer obsolete from an evolutionary perspective. It's destructive. It produces only violence and destruction. It's got no future. And the pursuit of external power produces only pain in your life. And as you create authentic power, you'll experience that if you're open to it again and again until you realize that the only thing you want to do in your life is to align your personality with your soul and its intentions, which are harmony, cooperation, sharing, and reverence for life. And not because someone told you to or you think it's a good idea, but because you begin to experience for yourself how painful it is to pursue external power, how painful it is to attempt to manipulate and control anyone else. So that's where we are now. We are in the midst of a transformation in human consciousness from 5-sensory to multisensory. We are in the midst of a transformation from a species that was limited to the 5 senses and that used the 5 senses to show it how to manipulate and control so that it could survive. And that's how it evolved, by surviving. Now we're multisensory. We evolve by growing spiritually, and we grow spiritually by creating authentic power. Authentic power is what is real. That's the topic of this series, this mini-series. What is real? Is it AI? No, not really. You can sort that out for yourself. Even though AI can do remarkable things, it can't do anything that your intellect can't do. It can just do it faster and more accurately in less time. But it can't feel. It can't really think even. It's just like your intelligence. It's not artificial. It's just your intelligence, but hyped up. speeded up, embodied, made muscular, put on steroids. But with all of that, it's never going to feel. It's never going to distinguish between love and fear, much less be able to choose between them. To really go where you need to go, and by that I mean a need inside you as a multisensory human, includes connection. Connection with other people. But does that mean connection with how they look, how they make you feel? In the Earth School, this domain of time and space and matter and duality, we are becoming aware simultaneously of our incarnations as a soul, partially incarnate into the time, space, matter, and duality Earth School. And at the same time, we are aware of what we always have been aware of, our personality, the body, the mind, the you that has a birthday and will have a death day. And these are occurring to us at the same time. And in the Earth School, we are learning how to reach for the soul, for harmony, cooperation, reverence, and sharing for life. We're learning how to distinguish that from the parts of our personality that are attached to the Earth School. And when they don't get what they're attached to, they hurt. That's how we distinguish frightened from loving parts of the personality. Frightened parts of your personality hurt, and loving parts don't. They feel blissful. And they're mutually exclusive. When you're experiencing a frightened part of your personality, you can't experience love. You can't experience gratitude while you're caught in the addictive sexual current. Or you need food, or you need to be appreciated, or you need company, or you need somebody to tell you it's going to be all right, it's going to be all right. You can't give the gifts you were born to give. And that's where your joy comes in. Joy is a revelator. It shows you when love is present in your life because joy is in your life. And when you're in love, you're in joy. And there's no fear. There's no memory of fear. It's a remarkable juxtaposition, a now made visible and experienceable contrast between all that is meaningless and painful and destructive, fear, and all that is constructive, blissful, connecting, fulfilling, and that is love. This is another way of saying that love is all that's real. Fear is not. Fear is not. That's why following fear will only take you to emptiness. It doesn't matter how many cars, or pairs of shoes, or boyfriends or girlfriends, or how much you can manipulate and control others in your life. That's not meaning. That's not fulfillment. That's not joy. That's not taking you where your soul wants you to go. Doesn't matter how long and beautiful your dreadlocks are, or how beautiful your skis are, or what that electric bicycle looks like, or what that Lamborghini looks like and sounds like. It's not going to take you anywhere but to temporary happiness. You think that's a theory? Wait until somebody runs into the back end of your Lamborghini and see how happy you are then. Happiness depends on what happens in the external world. Joy doesn't. Joy is like a sun that's ignited in you, and it doesn't go out. You need to feed it. You need to make sure that you tend it. But joy itself is not dependent on the external world. And you are learning, and I am learning, and everyone in the Earth School is learning to love. Authentic power is love. There's no greater power. Creating authentic power is the experience of developing the tools, emotional awareness, and responsible choice to make the experiences of love the ongoing, stabilized experience of your life. Can you do that? Yes, you can. but it takes commitment and courage and compassion and conscious communication and actions. But it's worth it. It's the only thing that's worth it. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Linda's word for it. Don't take anyone's word for what they say as so, just because they say it. If you resonate with anything that I say, or you see Linda say on a videotape, try it out in your life. Experiment with it. See what it creates in you. And if you like what it creates, experiment some more. That's what your life is for. And if you don't like it, let it go. Find something that does fulfill you. Find something that does give you meaning and connection. That does give you all of the fulfillment that you are looking for. Now, next time, we're going to talk about a new awareness of a type of connection that 5-sensory humans don't understand, have never experienced, except in their own way, but it's limited. But multisensory humans can experience it, and they treasure it. It's precious. It's a kind of connection that's not simply creating authentic power. You might say it's an add-on to your life, but once you add it on, you'll never want to live life without it. If you're enjoying anything you're hearing on this podcast, subscribe to it. Now, what do I mean by enjoy? Do I mean, is it entertaining for you? Does it make you laugh? Does it make you forget your worries? That's not what I mean. I mean, do you resonate with anything that I say as relevant, profound, and pertinent for you, not for the world, for you? Something that you can use, something that you can experiment with in your life. If you do, if you resonate, then subscribe, because there's more where this comes from. It comes from the universe, as do you. I have a soul step for you. Take out your soul notebook and your soul fountain pen from your jeans pocket or your purse and write in it everything that I've said in this podcast that you can remember, that you resonated with, that was meaningful to you. And then if you can think of some of the things that weren't at all and you thought they would be, write them down too. And then at the end of the week, look at them before the next podcast, because then we're going to talk about a remarkable sense of connection that's beyond what you might have imagined before. But if you choose, will become an integral, inseparable, and cherished part of your life, along with everything else in your life. Now, to prepare for that, I want you to go to our website, seatofthesoul.com, and I want you to look at the Authentic Power Guidelines. There's 4 sections of them. I want you to look at and download the first section. You'll find you can download all 4 sections at the same time, but I'm bringing your attention to the first section, which is commitment. Commitment is going to introduce you to the domain of experience within yourself that is going to be flooded with richness and warmth and appreciation and boundless love once you know what it is and you know how to add it on. I'm looking forward to discussing these things with you. I always do. I'm Gary Zukav.